There are rules and there's an order, and the WBC is the WBC. I cannot compare to anybody else. And he signed a contract. He fought to fight for the WBC title. He fought to fight for the undisputed title. He knows the rules. He does not want to abide by the rules. It's okay. He can go other ways. I have no idea. I talk to everybody. I have no hard feelings to anyone. We ended up the convention with the WBC Cares initiative. We had a very nice cardboard of champions, including Terence, and we all signed a nice cardboard signature of Terence Crawford. We're going to send it to him, wishing him the best. Is the path process again? Perfect.
What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, and I'm back at y'all with another one. So you just heard Mauricio Sulaiman, WBC, World Boxing Council president, state that he decided that they are now open and willing to work with Terence Bud Crawford, a first ballot Hall of Famer, undefeated 5-division champion, 3-division undisputed champion, and first ballot Hall of Famer once he retires, who is the pound for pound #1 fighter in the world and the king, Terence Bud Crawford, who has 42 wins, no loss, no draw, 31 wins by way of knockout. And Mauricio Sulaiman initially, because Terence Crawford beat Canelo Alvarez in September, another Hall of Famer, to become undisputed in the third separate weight class. And they wanted Terence Crawford to pay $300,000 in fees. And Terence Crawford was unwilling to do that. And now, because Mauricio Sulaiman decided to continue to push this envelope and tell the world unnecessarily that Terence Crawford was refusing, and that Terence Crawford didn't pay his fees for the Majumar fight, and they stripped Terence Crawford of his WBC title, well, it just opened up a can of worms that Mauricio and the WBC didn't want. Because you got people coming out and they explaining the numbers, people that used to work with them explaining the numbers. You got people like Oscar De La Hoya and Eddie Hearn coming out and trying to defend it. And Oscar De La Hoya looking like an absolute silly person because Oscar De La Hoya refused to pay the fees when he fought Shane Mosley. Whoops. Oscar De La Hoya was on record saying that the best belt to have is the Ring Magazine belt and it's free. Whoops. After Oscar De La Hoya tried to diminish Terence Crawford's stance on not paying the fees and say that he was disappointed in Terence Crawford. Whoops. Only to realize that Oscar De La Hoya was only doing that because he got an issue with Dana White and TKO, and he's trying to align Terence Crawford with them. And that's the reason why Oscar De La Hoya made the comments he made. But guess what? We see that Oscar De La Hoya himself refused to pay fees himself when he fought Shane Mosley. And we got the receipts of that. Okay? Oscar De La Hoya in 2019 talked about his fight. In 2000, Oscar De La Hoya talked about his fight with Shane Mosley. And Oscar De La Hoya had this to say. He refused to pay his fees in 2000 when he fought against Shane Mosley. He didn't want to pay the fees. He said that it needs to be a changing of the guards. Right? How Dante Boxing Nation always say, the worst thing that happened to these people is a microphone and a camera. Receipts. In 2000, Oscar De La Hoya is either being disingenuous or naive when he says the WBC and sanctioned by fees, he has a problem with it, right? He made Bob Arum and Top Rank pay the fees because he was signed to them. He refused, so Top Rank and Bob Arum paid the fees on his behalf because he refused to pay the fees. And now the WBC initially came out and stated that, well, they had to, ban Terence Crawford. And they realized that they glad that they this came out now because they're going to ban Terence Crawford, only to turn around now and say they have no issue with nobody and open to working with everybody and sitting down and talking. Right. Because they understand what Terence Crawford represents to the sport of boxing and to the young fighters coming up behind him. You see this interview on Fight Hype, and you can see he's being asked the influence that Terence Crawford has on the youth and the fighters coming up behind him. And they may take the same stance that Terence Crawford is taking, and other fighters might fall in line, and everybody might just want to fight for the Ring Magazine belt, which is the lineal belt. Like Max Kellerman, he can't stand the other sanctioned bodies. He refused to acknowledge them. He don't even mention their names. So once they band together, Errol Spence saying it, Floyd Mayweather said it, Andre Ward said it, Roy Jones said it. Now all these people are coming out. And if this youth and new crop of fighters decide, hey, I ain't with it no more, then guess what? They out of luck, because that's how they get paid. So they want to make amends. Of course they do. They don't really want to make amends. As you hear in his voice and you hear what he's saying, he knew the rules. He don't really want to make amends, but he understands what the future holds. He understands the power that Terence Crawford has, period. But let's see how this unfolds and plays out, man. But that's all I got for y'all. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. I'm gone. Peace.